This video is sponsored by Movement Watches and Sunglasses. More on Movement at the end of this video. Hey everyone, Disembodied Jared here, back to talk to you about the Merc with a Mouth. Now, Deadpool probably means a lot to you. Its sharp wit is a welcome reprieve from a torrent of superhero movies.
Besides, nobody's getting hurt.
And we're sure Deadpool 2 will be no different. But I'm here to talk about something else. Not only, as we've mentioned previously, is Deadpool a kind of microcosm for the ironic distance that pervades our culture, but it represents a lot more. Does Deadpool hold the secret to how people can get you to buy more stuff? Welcome to this blah 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 blah, and no spoilers ahead this time. Can we say that? Let's begin our story with the most recent adverts for Deadpool 2, the teaser at the beginning of Logan, and the Wet on Wet trailer. Both of these succeed for a very simple reason. They actively refuse to do what normal promotional material should do. In the Logan teaser, Deadpool takes too long changing in a phone booth while a hapless civilian gets brutally assaulted. In the end, he's too late.
If I'm being honest with myself, I probably should have just called 911.
The whole thing pokes fun at one of our culture's oldest icons, Superman, and for good measure, a random essay about the old man in the sea. We're still scratching our heads at that one. Maybe it has something to do with Logan and Santiago's sacrificial nature. I don't know. In the trailer Wet on Wet, Deadpool dons a sweet fro and a soothing baritone imitating Bob Ross's The Joy of Painting. Even before Deadpool, our cultural obsession with Bob Ross has always included a little dose of irony.
And if you tell anyone that that bush is there, I will come to your house and I will cut you.
The wholesome public television show full of dad humor and happy little trees became an internet sensation. Its naive authenticity became a joke for disillusioned millennials.
But I'm not a very good fisherman. I catch a little fish and take the hook carefully out of his mouth and put a Band-Aid on him, a little CPR, and pat him on the tutu and put him back in the water.
In Wet on Wet, the colors are movie jokes. Bob Ross's very real obsession with whacking his brushes is highlighted.
Whack that off real good. Just beat it like it owes you money.
Shake off the excess and just beat the devil out of it. That's really the most fun part of it.
And the chief engineer is one Geordie LaForge. Both of these are awesome, right? When I saw them in theaters, people were losing their shit. But is there something more to it than just, it's funny? If anything, these promotions are anti-promotions. By flaunting their absurdity, they mostly avoid teasing the actual movie they're promoting. Hell, the first Deadpool movie marketed itself as a rom-com at one point.
Surprise, this is actually, lucky you, a love story.
Instead of promises of cool fight scenes and a suspenseful plot, the whole pre-Logan trailer just raises doubts about superheroing in general.
The f is a phone booth doing on a street corner?
And Wet on Wet has a real trailer packed on the end of a series of not-so-subtle innuendos with no relation to the movie itself.
I just get high on all of life's splendor. God, I love cocaine.
And here's the point. The secret of self-promotion in 2017 is to make fun of the very fact that you're being self-promotional.
That's supposed to sell deodorant. Talk about something real, like the smooth, sophisticated scent of Old Spice.
The secret is cynicism. But to understand why this is uniquely successful today, we have to turn back to a guy who lived in a barrel and made philosophy out of pissing in public. Diogenes the Cynic was one of the progenitors of Western cynical philosophy. It's disputed whether or not he's the reason we use the term cynicism to describe his school of philosophy, but the term cynic, which in Greek means dog-like, was at the very least an insult hurled at Diogenes by his contemporaries. But either way, he really embraced the term and made a habit of urinating and fornicating in public, just like our four-legged friends. Never one to half-ass anything, he even tried eating raw meat. Not unlike our foul-mouthed hero, Diogenes spent his time berating the customs and habits of his peers, whereas Deadpool may successfully typecast his peers.
Oh, come on. You gonna leave me all alone here with less angry Rosie O'Donnell?
Diogenes would do things like stomp on Plato's carpet yelling, "I trample on the pride of Plato," running into Plato's classroom with a plucked chicken screaming, "Behold, Plato's man," and ordering his remains to be thrown over the city walls so that wild animals could feast on his corpse. The point for Diogenes was to be relentlessly cynical toward the habits and customs of the well-to-do Athenians. If they viewed themselves as noble purveyors of truth, Diogenes would carry around a lantern in broad daylight telling those around him he was searching for an honest man. If they thought defecating in public was beneath the dignity of a civilized man, Diogenes would drop trow right in the middle of the agora. It's not entirely different than the superhero that refuses to be a hero.
Ooh! And Cherry Garcia ice cream.
You gonna eat this?
But despite their similarities, Deadpool and Diogenes are fundamentally different, at least according to the logic of philosopher Peter Sloterdijk. For Sloterdijk, if Diogenes represented a pointed criticism of his contemporaries, cynicism today has become universal and diffuse, permeating every aspect of our culture. News, film, video games are all made cynically, and we even perform our jobs with a cynical indifference. The logic boils down to, hey, at least it's a paycheck on a global scale. Sloterdijk was writing in the 1980s, but he might as well have been writing today. If Diogenes publicly performed in such a way to rid the world of bad ideas, modern cynicism is merely a resignation to the fact that everything is terrible. And while Deadpool is perfect proof of universal cynicism that doesn't actually change anything, also consider the steady stream of self-aware advertising that succeeds by virtue that it rejects its very premise.
Marketing gimmick, hot women, hot men, even the rabbits, 8 out of 10.
LeBron James made a Sprite commercial for the Super Bowl where he ironically and repeatedly affirms that he'll never tell you to drink Sprite.
Let's get one thing straight. I never tell you to drink Sprite, even if I was in a commercial for Sprite. Which I am.
Newcastle made a Super Bowl ad about how they couldn't afford a Super Bowl ad.
Turns out they don't even have the money or permission to make a commercial. They can't even say the word. Basically, the only thing I haven't done is a nude scene and get paid a ton of money to be in a commercial for a beer I don't even drink.
Cards Against Humanity made a whole Black Friday campaign out of mailing people poop. And if mailing people poop is a metaphor for successful marketing in our modern age, Deadpool's advertising is the creme de la turd of film promotion.
Hold each of your manberries, or as I like to call them, smooth criminals.
Trailers that aren't trailers. A superhero who is not a hero. For Brazil's Comic-Con, Deadpool released a video where he offers a supposedly heartfelt attempt to connect with his Brazilian fans by saying,
To show my dedication to the legions of Brazilian Deadpool fans, I've spent up to 20 minutes on Google Translate, as well as countless hours watching telenovelas, to teach me everything about your official language.
Before offering up a clearly not Deadpool voiceover.
Here goes.
Você quer meu corpo no seu pra sempre? Então vamos tornar esse sonho em realidade.
But perhaps nothing exemplifies this trend like a recent Rick and Morty Old Spice ad. Rick Sanchez introduces some anthropomorphized Old Spice products in a bored monotone before counting the thousands of dollars he just made for the shameless promotion. For Sloterdijk, this is what separates modern cynicism from the cynicism of Diogenes. Our modern economy is compatible with nothing quite so much as the lamentations about the corrupting effect of almighty money. Money makes the world go round. Isn't that terrible? What makes this work for advertising, to use Sloterdijk's words, is that cynicism is criticism with limited liability. Deadpool can joke about the budget constraints of his own movie.
It's a big house. It's funny that I only ever see 2 of you. It's almost like the studio couldn't afford another X-Man.
Or even its own lead.
Think Ryan Reynolds got this far on his superior acting method?
And in doing so, protects itself from any judgments about budget constraints or acting resumes. For Sloterdijk, this is fundamentally different than the cynicism of Diogenes. Diogenes met the customs and ideas of his peers with pure satirical laughter. It worked because he also constructed an alternative, living like a stray dog out of a giant barrel. In response to the contemporary definitions of citizenship, he declared he was a citizen of the world. Rather, our modern cynicism lacks any alternative. Whereas some thinkers posited that the masses will follow their leaders with a false consciousness, a metaphorical wool pulled over their eyes, Sloterdijk posits that modern cynicism is enlightened false consciousness. We are acutely aware that there is wool over our eyes, but we say f it. Wool is warm and cozy. Creators may know an advertisement is stupid,
Head on your commercial is so annoying, but you got a great product.
or a superhero trope is overused.
Superhero landing. You gotta do a superhero landing.
But hey, gotta pay the bills, right?
Woo! Superhero landing.
The alternative is to make a movie that no one watches, or a YouTube video. I'm still hurt about that one. Consider the painting at the end of Wet on Wet. It's an alteration of Norman Rockwell's Freedom from Want, depicting a wholesome family ready to eat a giant America-sized turkey. Part of his For Freedom series, based on the FDR speech, the message was, here's what makes America great. The freedom to pray, to eat a ton of meat, to feel safe, and to speak your mind. In typical Deadpool fashion, a wholesome image is robbed of its original meaning. This is another microcosm of our cynical era. Straightforward defenses of any kind of values are scorned as naive at best, and at worst are vulnerable to being wrong. Consider the worst advertisement of the century. Pepsi's Kendall Jenner ad where a can of diabetes water brings together protesters and riot cops. On the one hand, we all cringed because the ad cynically watered down social movements to sell soda. But the real mistake was to defend anything at all, even if behind the scenes it was cynical. If the ad added a few "do not attempt in real life" or "results not guaranteed," we would have all laughed at such a self-aware ad. Cynical advertising upfront about its own cynicism is smart advertising. It's advertising with limited liability. So it shouldn't surprise us that figures like Superman, a symbol of heroism and goodness, or Norman Rockwell's freedom from want, draw the ire of Deadpool. Sloterdijk quotes Georg Simmel, who said, "The more money becomes the sole center of interest, the more we see honor and convictions, talent and virtue, beauty and health of the soul mobilized on money's behalf, the more a mocking and frivolous mood will arise regarding these values, which are offered for sale for the same kind of value as goods on the weekly market." Deadpool is the embodiment of this frivolous and mocking mood. Because heroics and values are for sale, how are we not supposed to laugh at them?
Please don't make the super suit green. Or animated.
And because there exists no conceivable way to escape the system we criticize, like perhaps Diogenes the Cynic could, what else are we to do? So what do you think? Is cynicism in marketing the best way to advertise these days? Well, let's find out. Have you decided it's time to step up your style game? Why not grab a new watch or pair of sunglasses from Movement? If you're one of the first 200 Wisecrack fans to make a purchase at mvmt.com/wisecrack using the offer code Wisecrack, you'll get $15 off your purchase. Founded on the idea that good style should never break the bank, Movement gives you designer-grade apparel at super affordable prices with absolutely no middleman. Movement's watches keep you on time and in style with classic minimalist designs and high-quality construction, all starting at $95. And their sunglasses are equally as awesome. Starting at $70, you can get lightweight, handmade designer quality frames with the option to polarize most pairs. So head over to mvmt.com/wisecrack or click the link in the description. Be sure to use the discount code Wisecrack to get $15 off your purchase. Free shipping and returns are included. Instead of watching me count more cash, click here to join the movement. Thanks to Movement for sponsoring this video. And if you like what we do and how we think here at Wisecrack, we've recently started a movie podcast called Show Me the Meaning. We're having a blast with it, so check it out in the links in the description. And as always, catch y'all next time. Peace.